Hello everyone. This is for class 7, chapter 7, weather, climate and adaptations of animals to climate. So here it starts with whenever you are going out, right, on a hill station especially, what you've been asked to pack with you. Right. So when the sky is cloudy, your parents insist you that you carry an umbrella. And have you heard about the elders in your family discuss the weather before planning a family function, right? So जैसे अगर फैमिली फंक्शन है तो ये सोचेंगे कि कैसा वेदर होगा उस दिन. अगर बहुत गर्मी रहने वाली है तो देयर मस्ट बी समथिंग सम अरेंजमेंट फॉर cooler that environment. Similarly, if it is a rainy season, then they would like to arrange things inside the house. तो ये सारी चीज़ें हम लोग वेदर के हिसाब से डिसाइड करते हैं. सो यू मस्ट ऑल्सो हैव हर्ड द एक्सपर्ट डिस्कसिंग द वेदर बिफोर द स्टार्ट ऑफ अ गेम. आपने गेम में भी देखा होता है कि गेम शुरू होने से पहले वो वेदर डिस्कस करते हैं. हैव यू एवर वंडर वाई, क्यों कर रहे हैं ये सब? द वेदर में हैव अ प्रोफाउंड इफेक्ट ऑन द गेम, क्योंकि वेदर की जो इफ़ेक्ट है वो गेम पे पड़ती हैं. गेम को कभी बीच में रोकना पड़ता है, देखा होगा कभी बारिश की वजह से उसको रोकना पड़ता है. सो इट हैज़ अ प्रोफाउंड इफेक्ट ऑन आवर लाइफ्स एज वेल. Right, many of our daily activities are planned based on the weather predicted for that day. There are daily reports of the weather on the television and radio, in the newspaper, but do you know what this weather really is? So in this chapter we will study about the weather and the climate. So we'll also see how different forms of life are adapted to the climate of their habitat. मतलब उन्होंने अपने आप को कैसे ढाला हुआ ताकि वो उस वेदर में रह सकते हैं. तो सबसे पहले जानते हैं वेदर. सो देयर इज़ अ 7.1 फिगर में यहाँ पे एक वेदर का कटआउट दिया गया है विच इज़ फ्रॉम द न्यूज़पेपर. नाउ न्यूज़पेपर में अगर आप देखें तो यहाँ से छोटी सी इन्फॉर्मेशन यहाँ दी होती है. मैक्सिमम मिनिमम टेम्परेचर दिया है, सनसेट, सनराइज, मूनसेट, मूनराइज का टाइमिंग दिया होता है, ह्यूमिडिटी है, ठीक है. सो ये सारी डिटेल्स वेदर में लिखी होती हैं. सो वी फाइंड दैट देयर डेली वेदर रिपोर्ट कैरीज इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट द टेम्परेचर, ह्यूमिडिटी एंड रेनफॉल ड्यूरिंग द past 24 hours. It also predicts the weather for the day. Humidity, as you might know, is a measure of the moisture in air. तो यहाँ पे ह्यूमिडिटी का डिफाइन आपको दे रखा है कि क्या होता है ये द अमाउंट ऑफ moisture in the air. So ऐसे क्वेश्चंस पूछते हैं कि what is the humidity. Now in 7.1 there is an activity. Cut out the weather reports and just paste the different from the different newspaper and make a table like 7.1 where you just have to record date, maximum temperature, minimum temperature, humidity in percentage, maximum humidity in percentage and the rainfall. Right. So do you all the 7 days have the same maximum and minimum temperature, humidity and rainfall? The maximum and minimum temperature record may be the same for the some of the days. हो सकता है कुछ दिन के लिए ये maximum minimum थोड़ा सा नज़दीक हो, लेकिन however all the parameters are not the same on any 2 days. Over a week there may be a considerable variations. The day-to-day conditions of the atmosphere at a place with respect to the temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed etc. is called the weather of that place. तो यहाँ पे ये definition है, क्या है कि the day-to-day changing conditions of the atmosphere at a place with respect to the temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed etc. is called the weather of that place. So ये हमें याद रखना है. और ये टेम्परेचर वगैरह जिसकी बात की वो क्या है? They are known as the elements. The factor is called the elements of the weather. The weather of a place change day after day and week after week. That is why often we say today's weather is too humid or weather was warm last week. The weather is such a complex phenomena that it can vary often very short period of time. It can happen sometimes that it is sunny in the morning but suddenly cloudy appear from nowhere and it starts raining heavily, or heavy rain may vanish in matter of minutes and give way to a bright sunshine. So कभी अचानक से धूप निकलती है, थोड़ी देर में बादल हो गए, बारिश आनी चालू हो जाती है. So you must have had several such experience. Try to recall any such experience and share it with your friends. Since weather is such a complex phenomena, it is not easy to predict. ये ऐसा चीज़ है जिसको प्रिडिक्ट नहीं किया, कभी भी बदल सकता है. So look at the graph given below which shows the maximum temperature recorded during the 3rd August 2006 and 9 August 2006 at Shillong, Meghalaya. right? So there are two cities temperature given here in the graph, right? As it is clear from any other report, the maximum and the minimum temperature are recorded every day. Do you know how this temperature are recorded? Okay, in chapter 4 you will learn about this temperature record thermometer, right? So there was a weather thermometer. That there are special thermometers for this purpose. Is called the maximum minimum thermometers, right? So this is already there in your 4th chapter. Now can you guess when during the day we have the maximum temperature and when we have the minimum temperature? Obviously दोपहर को इतनी धूप लगती है तो maximum temperature is going to be in the afternoon, while as in the early morning or late evening it's going to be about, it's a little bit cooler than the normal temperature of the day. So the maximum temperature of the day occurs generally in the afternoon, while as the minimum temperature, right, occurs generally early morning. And can you now understand why is the summer we feel so miserable in the afternoon and comparatively comfortable early in the morning, right? So what about the times of sunrise and sunset? You know that in winter it become dark early and you don't get much time to play. This day is shorter in the winter than the summer. Try to find out yourself, right, completing the project given at the end of the chapter. So yes, actually the answer is that climates, right? Now what is a climate? So what I have studied so far was the weather. Now we are going to discuss about the climate. Meteorologists record the weather every day, right? So यहाँ पे जो आपने record पढ़ा ना weather का, so that is recorded every day. The record of the weather have been preserved for the past several decades, और वो कहीं सालों तक उसको जमा किया जाता है. This help us to determine the weather pattern at a place. The average weather pattern taken over a long time, say 25 years, हर रोज का रिकॉर्ड किया जाता है, 25 साल तक रिकॉर्ड किया जाए, इज कॉल्ड द क्लाइमेट ऑफ दैट प्लेस. ठीक है, तो ये क्लाइमेट की डेफिनेशन है. यू मस्ट अंडरलाइन दिस. यहाँ पे क्या बोल रहा है कि द एवरेज वेदर पैटर्न टेकन ओवर अ लॉन्ग टाइम, से 25 years, is called the weather, is called the climate of the place, right? Now if we find that the temperature at a place is high most of the time, then we say the climate of that place is hot. अगर वेदर जो है ऑलमोस्ट टाइम हाई रहता है तो उसको हम लोग हॉट प्लेस कहते हैं. इफ़ देयर इज़ ऑल्सो हैवी रेनफॉल on most of the days the same place, then we say the climate of that place is hot and wet, right? So ये सारा डिफाइन में पूछ सकते हैं, ये कोई वन वर्ड आंसर में क्वेश्चन में पूछ सकते हैं. Table 7.2 and 3 we have given the climatic conditions of at a two place in India, that the mean temperature of given month is found in a two steps. First we find average of the temperature recorded during the month, and second we calculate the average of such average temperature over many years. So that gives us a mean temperature. The two places are Srinagar in Jammu and Kashmir and Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala, right? So there are two places. 7.2 and 7.3 is given here. There Jan to December, maximum minimum temperature and rainfall is given, right? So just to study them, right? Like January there in Srinagar it's a negative, whereas in January it's a 22 degree, right? And if it's a hard summer, 7.7 in April, and May in June, which is very hot in other parts of the country, whereas in March, April, May 24 in Kerala, Jammu and Kashmir, it's only about 7, 10 and 14 degrees Celsius. By looking at the both table, we can say that easily that the difference in the climate of Jammu and Kashmir and Kerala. We can see that Kerala is a very hot and wet in comparison to Jammu and Kashmir, which has a moderate hot and wet climate for a part of the year. Similar data for the western regions of India, for example Rajasthan, will show that the temperature is high during the most part of the year, and but during the winter which lasts only for a few months, the temperature is quite low. This region receives a very little rainfall. This is a typical desert climate. It is hot and dry. The northeastern India receives the rain for a major part of the year. Therefore, we can say the climate of the northeast is wet. So you understand where is the northeast, right? So if you draw like north is this, south is this, and west is this, and east is this. So is the north and east is a wet climate, right? So that's what you must remember. Okay, let's remove this. This looks dirty. Okay, in the climate and adaptation. So now understand what is adaptations. Climate has a profound effect on living organism. So जो भी वहाँ पे रहता है, अगर बहुत ठंडी लगती है तो वो उस तरह के कपड़े पहनेगा, उस तरह के खाना खाएगा. सिमिलरली जो गर्मी में रहता है तो वहाँ पे वो उस तरह के कपड़े और खाना खाएगा. सिमिलरली इट अफेक्ट्स ऑन ऑल लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स, मतलब इंसानों पे भी और एनिमल्स पे भी. Animals are adapted to survive in the condition in which they live. Animal possess a special features, right? Animal living in a very cold and hot climate must possess a special feature. ये जो special feature है that will help them to to against extreme conditions of the climate. So this special feature to protect themselves against the extreme cold or a heat. Recall from chapter of your class 6 since science book, the definition of adaptation, right? The features and the habits that help animals to adapt their surroundings. Area result of the process of evolution. In chapter 9 you will learn about the effect of weather and climate and the soil. Here we will study the effect of climate on animals only. In class 6 you have read about adaptation of animal to certain habits. As example of adaptation of animal to the climate condition, we discuss only animal living in a polar regions and tropical rainforest. As the name suggests, the polar regions are situated near the pole, North Pole and South Pole. So if this is the Earth, so ये North Pole हो गया और ये South Pole हो गया, ठीक है? So that's where we will study about it. Some well-known countries belongs to the polar regions are Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Alaska in USA, and Siberian region of Russia. Example of some countries where the tropical rainforests are found are India, Malaysia, Indonesia, Brazil, Republic of Congo, Kenya, Uganda, and Nigeria. So in activity 7.2 they say polar regions and discuss about the polar regions. The polar regions present an extreme climate, very cold. These regions are covered with the snow and very cold, right? So they covered with the snow and very cold, right? For 6 months the sun does not set, right? So this may be the question. And the poles values the other 6 months the sun does not rise. In winter the temperature can be seen below minus 37 degrees Celsius. Animals living there have adapted to severe conditions. Let us see how they are adapted by considering the example of polar bears and penguins. Polar bears have a white fur so that they are not easily visible in the snowy white background. It protects them from their predators. It also helps them in catching their prey. To protect them from extreme cold, they have two thick layers of fur. They also have a layer of fat under their skin. You must remember these all things are very important. So they might ask you to write down about the polar bear. So how they protect themselves by having the layers, two thick layers on their body, right? And in fact they are also well insulated, that they have to move slowly and rest often to avoid getting overheated. Physical activities on a warm day is necessity cooling, so the polar bear goes for swimming. It is a good swimmer. Its paws are wide and large, which help it not only to swim well but also to walk with easy snow. So ये वाले क्वेश्चन भी टीचर निकाल के पूछते हैं, that what they use with their paw. So they use for swimming and also for walking. While swimming under the water, it can close its nostrils and can remain under the water for a long duration. It has a strong sense of smell so that it can catch its prey for food. We can understand the adaptation of polar bear with the help of flow charts shown in the figure. So here it is a polar bear and different adaptations is given. Very strong sense of smell. It helps them to locate the prey. Long curved sharp claws which help them to walk on the ice. It has a layer of skin so it can insulate the body from the cold climate. It has a thick layers of fur so keep them warm and cool. and white fur, right, so that it can easily hide itself in the snow and could attack the prey and save itself from the predators. Like polar bears, penguins are also a good swimmer. Their bodies are streamlined and their feet have webs, making them good swimmer. Other animals living in the polar regions are many types of fishes, musk, oxen, reindeers, foxes, seals, whales, and birds. It is to be noted that while fish can remain under cold water for a long, bird must remain warm to survive. They migrate to warmer regions when winter sets in. They come back after the winter is over. You know probably that in India is one of the destination of many of these birds, migratory birds. You might have heard of it. You must have seen or heard about the Siberian crane that comes from Siberia to places like Bharatpur in Rajasthan, Sultanpur in Haryana, and some of the wetlands of the northeast and some other parts of India. Then comes the tropical rainforest. The tropical region has generally a hot climate because of it's located around the equator. When even in the coldest month the temperature is generally higher than 15 degrees Celsius. During hot summer the temperature may cross 40 degrees Celsius. Day and nights are almost equal in the length throughout the year, so these regions get plenty of rainfall. An important feature of this region is the tropical rainforest. Tropical rainforests are found in western and Assam in India, Southeast Asia, Central America, and Central Africa. Because of continuous warmth and rain, this region supports a wide variety of plants and animals. The major type of animals living in the rainforest are monkey, ape, gorilla, tiger, elephant, leopard, lizard, snakes, bird, and insect. Right? So you just remember maximum minimum temperature. What are the regions are found in India as well as another part of the world that you need to remember. Let us read about the adaptation of this animal to hot and humid climate. The climatic conditions in rainforests are highly suitable for supporting an enormous number and a variety of animals. Since the number are large, there is an intense competition for food and shelter. Many animals are adapted to living on the trees. A red-eyed frog has developed a sticky pads on its feet to help it climb trees on which it lives. To help them live on the trees, monkeys have long tails for grasping branches. Their hands and feet are such that they can easily hold onto the branches. As there is a competition for food, some animals are adapted to get food not easily reachable. A striking example that the bird of toucan, which possesses a long, large beak. This helps a toucan to reach the fruits on branches which are otherwise too weak to support its weight. Many tropical animals have sensitive hearing, sharp eyesight, thick skins, and a skin color, which help them to camouflage by blending with the surrounding. This is to protect them from predator. For example, big cats have thick skin and a sensitive hearing. So you see, various things are found in animals which help them to live in that particular surroundings, which is known as adaptation, right? The lion-tailed macaws, also called a bear lives in the rainforest of Western Ghats. Its most outstanding feature is a silver-white mane, which surrounds head from the cheeks down to its chin. It is a good climber and has spent a major part of its life on the tree. It feeds mainly on a fruit. It also eats seeds, young leaves, stems, flowers, and buds. This bird also searches for insects under the bark of the trees. Since it is able to get insufficient food on the trees, it rarely comes down to the ground. Another well-known animal of the Indian tropical rainforest is the elephant. Okay, we lost. It has adapted to the conditions of rainforest in many remarkable ways. Look at its trunk. It is used as a nose, because of which it has a strong sense of smell. The trunk also it has a strong sense of smell. The trunk is also used by the picking up of food. Moreover, its tusks are modified teeth. This can tear the bark of trees that elephant loves to eat. So the elephant is able to handle a competition for food rather well. Large ears of the elephant help in the hear even very soft sound, and they also help elephant to keep them cool in a hot and humid climate. So they also ask that what is the second use of the large ear. So one is to hear the sensitive sound, other was keeping them cool in a hot and humid climate of the rainforest. Okay, that's the end of your chapter. I hope you enjoyed this.